You are in for another edition of Would You Guess? Now, little did accomplished author and historian Ronald Chernow, a nice Jewish boy from Brooklyn, realize that when he wrote a biography about Alexander Hamilton, you know, that founding father whose face has appeared on the $10 bill since 1923, that his book would be turned into arguably the most successful Broadway musical of all time. But would you guess that Ron Chernow is not the only Jewish connection to the story of Alexander Hamilton? No, Lin-Manuel Miranda is not Jewish, but Daveed Diggs, who played Lafayette in Hamilton, is. Yep, his Jewish mother even sent him to Hebrew school. But that's not all. Would you guess that Alexander Hamilton may have been Jewish himself? Okay, here we go. Hamilton's mother, Rachel Faucet, married a Dane on St. Croix named Johann Michael Levine. Yes, Levine, which was a quintessential Sephardic Jewish surname during that era. Levine was also a merchant, a typical profession for Jews on St. Croix at the time. So if Levine was Jewish, Rachel must have converted before the marriage because that was the law in Denmark, which controlled St. Croix at the time. Now that marriage fell apart, and Rachel fled St. Croix for Nevis, where she met James Hamilton, with whom she had Alexander out of wedlock. Now because Alexander was considered illegitimate, the Christian school on Nevis would not accept him. So he was educated in, the Jewish school, where he learned to speak Hebrew. Now, adding to the belief that Rachel had converted and remained faithful to the Jewish religion, there are no baptismal records for Alexander on the island, and Rachel is not buried in a Christian cemetery. Now, once Alexander arrived in America, he did identify as a Christian, but never took communion, and was a close ally to the Jewish community, even speaking out against anti-Semitism, quite a rarity at the time. But maybe the most interesting nugget of all, historians have uncovered that one of Hamilton's grandsons described him as a rich Danish Jew. You never know. Well, that's all for this edition of Would You Guess?